Good afternoon on behalf of the Nottinghamshire Registration Service, but very much more importantly on behalf of James and Elizabeth, a very warm welcome to the Pumping House on this very special occasion. My name is Judith Ross and it's my absolute pleasure to conduct your wedding ceremony here today. My colleague and fellow registrar Fiona is here to ensure the legality of today's proceedings. Before we begin the ceremony, it is my duty to inform you that this place in which we are now met has been duly sanctioned according to law for the celebration of marriages. So, are you two ready to get married? Yeah. Is your full name James Kenneth Chisholm?
Yes.
And is your full name Elizabeth Anne McKay?
Yes.
We are here to witness the joining in matrimony of James Kenneth Chisholm and Elizabeth Anne McKay. If any person here present knows of any lawful impediment why James and Elizabeth should not be joined in matrimony, they must declare it now. Yes. James and Elizabeth have chosen today as their wedding day. It's a celebration of their commitment now and for their future together. Marriage is confirmation of the love, respect, and friendship they have for each other. The vows they exchange will unite them as husband and wife with words that are a pledge of their love and a promise of lifelong dedication. I would now like to invite Ben to come forward and join us, please. He will be sharing some words that have been specially chosen for the occasion to reflect and remember Helen. Following the reading, I would ask that we all remain in reflective silence. Thank you.
I heard your voice in the wind today, and I turned to see your face. The warmth of the wind caressed me, and I stood silently in place. I felt your touch in the sun today, as its warmth filled the sky. I closed my eyes for your embrace, and my spirit soared high. I saw your eyes in the window pane. As I watched the falling rain, it seemed as each raindrop fell, it quietly said your name. I held you close in my heart today. It made me feel complete. You may have died, but you are not gone. You'll always be part of me. As long as the sun shines, the wind blows, the rain falls, you will live on the side of me forever. For that is all my heart knows.
Before you are joined in matrimony, I have to remind you of the solemn and binding character of the vows that you are about to make. Marriage, according to the law of this country, is the union of two people voluntarily entered into for life to the exclusion of all others. So, do you, James Kenneth Chisholm, freely consent to be joined in marriage to Elizabeth Anne McKay?
I do.
And do you, Elizabeth Anne McKay, freely consent to be joined in marriage to James Kenneth Chisholm?
I do.
I shall now ask each of you in turn to declare that, to the best of your knowledge and belief, that there is no lawful reason why you should not be married to each other. So, starting with you, James, if you please repeat these words after me. I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly declare.
That I know not.
That I know not.
of any lawful impediment.
of any lawful impediment.
Why I, James Kenneth Chisholm,
Why I, James Kenneth Chisholm,
may not be joined in matrimony
may not be joined in matrimony
to Elizabeth Ann Mackay.
to Elizabeth Ann Mackay.
Lovely. I do solemnly declare
I do solemnly declare
that I know not
that I know not
of any lawful impediment.
of any lawful impediment.
Why I, Elizabeth Ann Mackay,
Why I, Elizabeth Ann Mackay,
may not be joined in matrimony
may not be joined in matrimony
to James Kenneth Chisholm.
to James Kenneth Chisholm.
Lovely. I would now like to invite Rebecca to come forward to share some words that have been chosen especially for today.
When he looked into her eyes, he learned the most important part of the language that all the world spoke. The language that everyone on earth was capable of understanding in their heart. It was love. Something older than humanity, more ancient than the desert. What the boy felt at that moment was that he was in the presence of the only woman in his life, and that, with no need for words, she recognised the same thing. Because when you know the language, it's easy to understand that someone in the world awaits you, whether it's in the middle of the desert or in some great city. And when two such people encounter each other, the past and the future become unimportant. There is only that moment, and the incredible certainty that everything under the sun has been written by one hand only. It is the hand that evokes love and creates a twin soul for every person in the world. Without such love, one's dream would have no meaning. Thanks to you and Beth.
James and Elizabeth have chosen to exchange rings today, an ancient and a traditional way of sealing the marriage vows. The wedding ring is an unbroken circle, symbolising everlasting love, and is the outward sign of the lifelong promises that are being made today to each other. So, could I ask Alistair, please, to come join us? Could you take Elizabeth's ring from the box and turn to face each other, please? Present your left hand, please, Elizabeth. Slide the ring onto the third finger and say these words to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I give you this ring.
Elizabeth, I give you this ring
As a symbol
as a symbol
of our love and marriage.
of our love and marriage.
Super. Slide it all the way down. Super. Is it all the way there?
It's on, it's on.
It's on. It's not coming off. Okay. So would you take James's ring, please? Present your left hand, please, James. Thank you. Alice, you can take your seat again. Slide it onto the third finger and say these words to James. James, I give you this ring
James, I give you this ring
as a symbol
as a symbol
of our love and marriage.
of our love and marriage.
All the way there. It's on. Excellent. Good stuff. James and Elizabeth will now make a binding contract of marriage to each other. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are able and would like to, would you please stand? So, turn to face each other. Hold hands. James, I'll start with you. Repeat these words after me. I call upon these persons here present
I call upon these persons here present
to witness that I, James Kenneth Chisholm,
to witness that I, James Kenneth Chisholm,
do take the Elizabeth Ann Mackay
do take the Elizabeth Ann Mackay
to be my lawful wedded wife.
to be my lawful wedded wife.
Super. And Elizabeth, your turn now. I call upon these persons here present
I call upon these persons here present
to witness that I, Elizabeth Ann Mackay,
to witness that I, Elizabeth Ann Mackay,
do take thee, James Kenneth Chisholm,
do take the James Kenneth Chisholm
to be my lawful wedded husband.
to be my lawful wedded husband.
Super. So, James and Elizabeth, this is the start of a very new chapter in your lives together. We hope that the obvious feeling of love that you have for each other will deepen and grow ever stronger throughout the years to come. You have declared your commitment in the presence of your family, your friends, and your witnesses, and you have made solemn and binding promises. You've symbolised your marriage by the joining of hands and the giving and receiving of a ring. It is therefore with great pleasure that I can now declare that you are legally joined together in marriage as husband and wife. Congratulations.
Good Volsha means 100,000 wealthy in Gaelic, and that's what I send out to every single person here for coming today. It's been such a wonderful day, and she's such a wonderful daughter. As a father of our beautiful bride, it is my great honour to speak to you today. And to thank everyone for coming. From near, far, from Australia, some people. And there you go. And, every place in between. It's wonderful to have you here. And the serious part is over. Now it's party time. But I've got to say a few words first.
This is the first sheet.
I've got to thank the beautiful bridesmaids. I think they're having a sleep.
They're not here.
I should be doing really. I've got to make a special thank you to Chloe. Chloe, where are you? Chloe, thank you ever so much for stepping into the breach and saving the day. You did it. If you ask her, she'll tell you.
After.
I do have to thank Maggie and Dave for their kindness and thoughtfulness to me, but also for providing one half of this spectacular duo. Who else have I got to thank? Maggie and Dave.
I told you to bring your specs. Sharon, chuck yours over.
I have to come to a sad part really here because it's just the only one that the newsletter that you had, as I mentioned, my wife Helen who died, and she would have been all over this place and she would have loved this. And I have to say it, there's others as well. Stephen Davis passed away recently. I'm sure every single person here at this minute has got somebody they can think of and things. But this is a celebration, but we can still celebrate those we miss, and we should do that from time to time, especially at times like this. But anyway.
Where's Hannah?
This is the part. So I'm going to say a few words about my beautiful daughter. Right? She's always been kind and considerate, a lovely person, very generous person, but tenacious at the same time. If she puts her mind to it and she wants something, not for herself but for her family and children, she will fight until she gets it. I love it. I'm not doing here a lot of stuff that only sentiment can say it. Jame and Elizabeth are great for each other, and they're great. They're together, they're great. And I'm happy for them, I really am. I'm supposed to say something funny here, but don't do any jokes, Dad. Right, James. No, I'll leave that up to Ali. As far as I'm concerned, James is fine. James is a great guy. I've watched James, his children, and he's a perfect dad. He really is. He does the things that a father should do, when a father should do. He spends time with them. He does everything that a father should do. And I have no complaints with him at all on any point. I'm sure that Elizabeth and James will be perfectly happy together. I know they will. James has got a problem. He supports Arsenal. Did you drop him in his head at any time? No, but when I first met James, you think, how am I going to go into this lad? What's he like? And then he told me he liked football, so tick. And then he told me he liked a pint, tick. And he told me he loved my daughter, tick. No, I thought he's a great guy and they're a great match. I've written, my last line is, I love them all, which I do, and I wish them every happiness, which I do. And I would like to raise a toast to the happy couple. Cheers to the happy couple.
Okay, so in true James style, I left my speech at home yesterday, so it's okay, I'm a creative person.
With respect.
With respect, yeah. First of all, on behalf of my wife and I, I would like to thank everyone for coming today. People have travelled from all over the country and further afield. As Frank said, there's people from Australia, there's people from people from Scotland, and yeah, so thank you everyone. In one way or another, I think everyone in this room has had a part to play in our lives and had an impact on us as people. That is why everyone here is here today. So I'd like to just thank you from Elizabeth and I for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay. Secondly, Frank, thank you for your speech. Yeah. Yeah, you were kind to me, so yeah, that's good. In advance, I'll thank you, Ali, but whether you'll be as kind, we'll wait and see. Okay. Okay.
The girls are out there. They can come in. Yeah.
Introducing Isla Chisholm and Olivia Chisholm. Woo! Princess Isla. Isla, over here. Olivia? We're over here. Thank you. God, that's the biggest clap we'll get. Did you just elbow my daughter in the head? Come on, go over there. Go up here. Go up here. Go. Okay. Well done, girls. You okay? Okay. They're okay. Okay.
Okay.
Elizabeth and I are lucky enough to have amazing people in our lives. And we were lucky enough to be able to choose a great table of bridesmaids and groomsmen from them. Bridesmaids, you all look beautiful today. More importantly, I would like to thank you all for being amazing support for Elizabeth through the good times and the bad times. It is massively appreciated by both of us. Groomsmen, you all look very distinguished today. I'm very lucky that I have a group of mates that first of all put up with me, but secondly are very loyal. Thank you in particular for Ali for arranging the stag do. I'm not going to go into details about that, but I think there's a couple of points that I remember. Literally. One, mayonnaise is not for beer. I never ever want to do that flight again. And no one wants to see me in Speedos. The last point is, and I think was a collective group decision, is that Paul Scholes is overrated. Sorry, that's in joke. Okay, Chloe and Lauren. Another two people that have been significant in today. Chloe, thank you for the many jobs you've done, including the last minute gift. Apparently you buy a gift on the wedding, but it's fine, we know that, it's here. And all the other things that you've done, you've been Elizabeth's personal wedding organiser, her venter, everything else that's come in between that. So thank you, Chloe. Okay. Lauren. Oh, no, hold on, we got that. Lauren, like, where's Lauren? Obviously I know the seating plan really well. Yeah. Lauren, obviously life doesn't make you busy enough. 2 preschool boys, being a psychologist, running your own business, it's obviously not enough for you. So you decided to make a cake for us. So the cake is there. 6 years. So thank you for doing that. Elizabeth and I are very fortunate to have the parents that we've had. Mum and Dad, the two of you have supported me through every stage of my life and absolutely taken on Elizabeth, Harry and the kids, and that support extends, and we will never be able to thank you enough for that. Yeah. I am the man I am today because of you two. So if anyone's got any complaints... Okay. Soon after meeting Elizabeth and Harry, I met Frank and Helen. Yeah. The two of them are the most supportive parents I've ever met in my life. They welcomed me into their family, and I can never thank them enough for that. Elizabeth had the closest relationship with her parents I've ever known. One that was very different to what I knew from my parents. Elizabeth and her family tell each other they love themselves, love each other. They're very big-headed, yeah. Love each other all the time. This is a stark contrast to our family. An example I've got is the time that my sister was in hospital and my dad told her that he loved her and she cried because she thought she was dying. I know, sorry, yeah, you don't take them off well, do you? As Frank said earlier, obviously we lost Helen, and that had a significant impact to our family. She will never be forgotten, and in our house we talk about her every day. The children talk about Helen. They talk about their granny. They talk about how they miss Granny, they draw pictures for her, they send them to her, and that will never be a part of our life that is stopped. Today and the last year have been even harder for Elizabeth without her mum. But I just know that she's looking down and she'll be so proud of you right now. Can I ask everyone to stand up and raise a toast for Helen, but not just Helen, but all the people in our lives that we would have wanted here who are not here right now. To absent friends. Okay.
He's trying to fill out his 8 minutes here.
Okay, so to the most important person of the day and my life, Elizabeth.
About time.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers, Anna.
I can't put into words how you've changed my life, but you've improved every aspect, family, career and lifestyle. The only negative impact has been my handicap. But we've got the rest of our married life to improve that. Yeah. Those that know Elizabeth know she is the most caring, empathetic and driven person, and I'm immensely proud of her. Elizabeth has almost single-handedly organised this day. I think I made 2 decisions. One was to personalise letters on the plate, which I think is a fantastic idea. The second decision was the colour of charger plates, which I'm not sure I still know what it is because I said they were black and these plates aren't black. But anyway, so all I can say is this morning has proved that I cannot cope in this world without Elizabeth. Yeah, or Ali. Yeah. So, forgetting my speech, not knowing how to deal with 3 children, not knowing where I had to be or what to do, is a very stark reminder that Elizabeth does so much for me and I take her for granted a lot of the time. That's an interesting noise. So, yeah, okay. I will wrap up on one thought. Weddings are a strange but fun day. I think back to the impact that I've had on other weddings. Okay. I'm not sure why people are laughing. Okay. From being a child, crying and refusing to do my duties, to trousers that didn't fit me, and I had to stand up and do a speech, to harmlessly feeding the horse. At the end of the day,
Hey.
let's just have fun, let's have some drinks, and let's make it memorable. Thank you.
So it's fantastic to see so many happy, smiley faces here to celebrate the new Mr. and Mrs. Chisholm. Woo! You manage here. I want to start by saying, Frank, first of all, thank you for the Scottish weather. Second of all, when you look at Elizabeth, you must be so proud today. Dave, Maggie, when you look at James, you must think, how the hell has he pulled this off?
True.
I love weddings, and they're always just that little bit different. I like coming and seeing sort of the little touches that people put on the day and all the fun things that are there, and it's just been so nice spending it with James and him seeing everything for the first time and realising what's been planned. So, yeah, that's been lovely. Elizabeth and all the bridesmaids, you all look beautiful today. So I'd like to start with a toast to Elizabeth and the bridesmaids.
Oh. Elizabeth and the bridesmaids.
At this point, I should say that my wife has paid me £10 to advertise her makeup business. She did the makeup for Elizabeth and the bridesmaid. You'll find her on Hannah Joy MUA on Instagram. So planning for my speech today, I'll be honest, I've struggled. Mainly because after 38 years on this planet, I still haven't worked James out.
It's true.
There's also not much PG content to be able to go through. But yeah, those missing stories that a lot of you will be disappointed that I haven't told about today, let's talk about them at the bar, because they're well worth telling. And there's so many types of James, or Cheese as I know him, and he never fails to surprise me, but not in a good way. And thinking about him and trying to write a speech, I'm just as confused as he looks most of the time.
True. Fair enough.
So I started making a list of the different types of Jameses I think there are. I think there's 6. My favourite is the James that got accidentally fat eating a tub of Ben & Jerry's every day.
That was a good time in my life.
But the other 5, I think there's James, the village kid who was growing up. Good kid. There's Cheese, who I know, and the main way I describe him is he likes a drink. There's Jasper, who is his alter ego, and that's him when he's had too much to drink.
See that later.
There's Work James, and he does an incredible job. What he does for people and for society is just brilliant, and I'm really, really proud of what he does.
It's a bad time to have been sacked.
I'm still not convinced he's not a patient himself.
There's no evidence.
And there's, of course, now Dad James, which I didn't see coming. I'm not sure if he did. But looking around the room, I don't think there's anyone here who knows all 6 types of Jameses. So I'll try and tell a story about each. I've already done the Ben & Jerry's, and you'll probably see some pictures. They're funny. But I'm going to start with James, the village kid. Now, I'm married to Hannah, who also grew up in the same village, and weirdly, about 60% of their primary school is here. That's how small the village is. And being married to Hannah, I can vouch for how odd village kids are. Not a lot to do. Most of the stories involve climbing trees or weirdly climbing under roads, which, yeah, I don't really understand.
Tunnels, not climbing.
Crawling under roads. Yeah. The one story, and there's tons of stories I could tell, but the one story that, no, I wasn't there, Hannah tells it brilliantly, was an afternoon spent with not much to do in the village. They must be about 12, 13 years old. Decide to go to Hannah's house because her mum and dad are on a booze cruise. So they raid the cupboards, make themselves lots of various drinks involving all the spirits that are in the cupboards, end up having too much to drink, and one of them ends up putting a head through a window. Panic ensues, and to cover their tracks, because it's a village, they've been able to go into the woods and find a dead pigeon. Cover up for the broken window. What they failed to realise was the broken glass was on the outside of the building, and the dead bird was on the inside of the building.
I blame the drink.
And not only were they in trouble for raiding the covers, they're also in trouble for the dead bird in the house. James was so drunk that he had to go home. He fell asleep. He managed to wake himself up after sobering up, and there was still time to watch Match of the Day in full.
It was, yeah. Good times.
And I was going to stop there, but Maggie, yesterday you told me a brilliant story about James at school. Again, it's a very small school. Leanne comes home from school one day, upset. She's struggling at school, being bullied. Maggie's trying to get out of her, are you okay? Probably thinking she's got a bigger brother that will look after her. Please tell me who's bullying you. It turns out it's James. I think that sums him up. That certainly sums up James, the village kid.
Wasn't drinking then either.
Now we're through to Cheese, who I've known from secondary school through to now. That violent streak has continued, and the way that you can know that you've had a good night is if it ends in Cheese threatening you with violence.
Doesn't portray me in a working life.
He is the most stubborn person I know, and he referenced it earlier how he was at weddings, and I want to tell a story about my wedding where James was an usher. We're in a pub next door to the venue, and we're not changed yet, we're not ready. There are lots of people arriving, and they're all ready, and probably the ceremony starts in 45 minutes, at which point James decides to order 6 Guinness. They also have to change the barrel. And I said to James, we need to leave, we really need to leave and get ready. And he turned around to me and said, but I've already paid. So we waited for the 6 Guinness.
Not cheap anymore. Not cheap.
So not only is he stubborn, he's loyal. Mm-hmm. I always know that he's there for me. He loves a good walk. He loves his football, chasing a ball. In fact, the more I think about it, the more he's just like Buddy. He's better. You're right. He never fails to point out another dog and smile.
Oh, I love a dog.
You love a dog.
Everyone loves a dog.
Moving on to Jasper. Now, Jasper is an alter ego that I don't personally know, so there's going to be some good stories out there that I'd like to hear about. But what I know about Jasper is he used to run the 3rd team of football at uni. Mm-hmm. And I always thought to myself, Cheese, who I know, not Jasper, is better than the 3rd team. He can play football better than that. I think it turns out he was just doing it for the social.
3rd team family was brilliant.
And the main thing that's in my mind is a story that I heard about Jasper being kicked out of the club by a bouncer for being Jasper. And the bouncer, while manhandling Jasper, having to put up with you singing a song about pie and mash for no reason. Which I just find so odd, but I think it really sums up Jasper, that lovable rogue.
It's a strong memory.
We're on to work James now. Now, I said that there's not everyone in this room that knows all the different types of Jameses, and I don't know work James. And as I've already said, what he does is incredible. What's more incredible to me is when he first started on this career, we lived very close together and maybe see each other in the pub or in the evening playing football. I always said to James, how was work? It must be tough. And his story, or what he'd always say to me, is he's either been to the cinema or been playing table football. So how he's managed to turn this into a career, I don't know. And as I say, I don't know work James very well, so I'd love to hear some funny stories tonight. Moving on to Dad James. James, Elizabeth, you have 3 wonderful children, Harry, Isla, Olivia. And my second toast is to them tonight.
Come on.
Harry, Isla, and Olivia.
Harry, Isla, and Olivia.
Now, being a stepdad myself, I know that it's the stepchildren that have all the real stories. So for this part of the speech, I've employed Harry to give me the inside scoop. I've also used the £10 that Hannah paid me to bribe Harry into this. So what Harry can tell me about Dad James is that Harry's busy trying to learn golf, but he's struggling because he's got James's hand-me-down clubs. And it's not the size of the clubs that he's struggling with, it's the heads of the club that have all been damaged from Cheese's anger at all the shank shots and hitting them on the floor. I also have it under good authority from Harry that he's an idiot that farts a lot as well.
Can't argue with that.
Harry,
one.
the 10 is yours. But when I was speaking to Harry yesterday and trying to get some stories out of him, hearing Harry call James Dad really hit home to me what a brilliant father he is, and Frank's already said it. Both Elizabeth and James are brilliant, loving parents, and anyone who would allow their kids 11 guinea pigs in the garden really is loving. And I think the order that you've done it with kids first, married second, is a real privilege to get to spend this time with all three, making memories. Must be fantastic, and you're a real credit to yourselves. But there's one more James now, and that's James the husband.
Been good so far.
And being able to see Elizabeth go to work and train, remember he's a dog, train James into the person he is now has just been amazing to watch. I'm in awe of it, in fact. How she's shaped this Cheese, Jasper, village kid into the man he is today is a minor miracle. Elizabeth, you must be knackered. Both of you together are the perfect match. You're amazing parents, you're fun, you're loving, you're caring. Elizabeth takes all the credit, I don't know why you're looking at me.
That's true, that's true.
And just to wrap it up, I just want to say from all of us a big thank you with sharing your big day with us. So my final toast is to the bride and groom.
Thank you.
I hope everyone's enjoyed their meal, and we're shortly going to go and eat some cake and have some cocktails. But prior to that, because I like the sound of my own voice, I want to give one little story, and then after that is that Harry would like to say a few words. Okay, so we've spoken about Helen a couple of times throughout the evening, and I just want to say, Maggie and myself, we're very proud of what James has actually done with his family, and equally Elizabeth, and it's a pleasure for her to join our family. So the story I just wanted to say, which is a very simple thing, but at the time was very profound and quite touching. And it was early in the days when James was going out with Elizabeth, and we were just really starting to get to know Frank and Helen quite well. And this was at their home in Milton Keynes. And Helen called me to the side and said, James is a lovely young man. He's making Elizabeth really happy, and it's just a joy to see Elizabeth so happy. And even though they were very simple words, they were quite, for parents to actually hear those words, it was very joyous. So I just wanted to share that with people, and I know that Helen would be absolutely so happy that James is actually in Elizabeth's life. So I just want to stop there. I'm going to ask, Harry's wants to say a few words. So over to you, Harry.
Good afternoon. I want to thank everyone for coming here to celebrate Mum and Dad's wedding. I should point out now, guys, you should have made effort to look as sharp as me. Mum, I just want to say how marvellous you look today, and for being the best mum in the world. Thank you, Dad, for making my mum so happy, and for taking me to golf and helping me with homework. and being a great dad to me and my sisters. Thank you, Auntie Leanne and Uncle Stephen, for helping me with writing this. Mum, Dad, I love you both. I hope you both have the most magical day. Everyone, please raise a glass to my mum and dad.
Mum and Dad. Come on, Harry, stand up. We'd just like to actually finish, and as soon as we actually finish this little bit, it's cake time. So we'd like everyone to join in with this. So we want to actually say, and this is to Elizabeth and James. Are you ready?
What?
Right, go on now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hip, hip.
Away!
Hip, hip.
Away!
Hip, hip.